interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. FiberNew specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
And it comes back to Lucas Blows. Hey, rookie, welcome to the show, the Penguins Cup Championship show, the Penguins Cup playoff show, and the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars putting on a show. Tell the boys and girls I just don't care.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
Get ready, Pittsburgh! Experience a night out on the town and the thrill of live music. Trusky Entertainment brings you the hottest concerts and unforgettable events right here in the Steel City. Visit TruskyEntertainment.com to grab your tickets today and don't miss out on the best live music in Pittsburgh.
Look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. You utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's official health insurance marketplace. How can I help?
Would preventative care and screenings be an option?
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest cost on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
What a wonderful day!
Welcome to Temple Strength and Sport Performance, where we empower you to reach new heights in strength, speed, and athletic performance. Temple is here to support you every step of the way. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned athlete, join him in Jefferson Hills, Pennsylvania, and discover the difference. For more information, call 412-527-1755. Start your journey with us today.
2 jumbo iced caramel drizzle peppermint mochaccino, extra caramel.
That's us.
I'd love to join you guys at the beach house for a few days, but between my job and the kids, it's just not that easy. Not to mention, how am I squeezing into a bikini after this winter?
Keeping off extra pounds while balancing a family and a career can be tough. And 500-calorie coffees won't get you there either. Weight Loss Direct provides a 24/7 support and one-on-one coaching to keep you on track and guarantee you success and health. Start your journey at weightlossdirect.com.
And it's a hockey night in Pittsburgh.
And I'll meet you in the schoolyard, baby, for all the marbles.
It's a great day for state championship hockey this afternoon from the RMU Island Sports Center inside the Clearview Arena in Neville Township, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League, in cooperation with the Intercounty Scholastic Hockey League, presents the 2025 Class 1A Pennsylvania Cup, presented by Drusky Entertainment. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. I'm Matt Popchock for PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, simulcast on Trib Live High School Sports Network, alongside Kevin Zielmanski. And Kevin, you've got two teams in this first of three Pennsylvania Cup games celebrating a half century of the Pennsylvania Cup today that are both playing with house money, really. The Avonworth Antelopes winning their first ever Penguins Cup a few days ago in just their third year as a pure program. The Garnet Valley Jaguars, established 30 years ago, once had a meteoric rise of their own. They won their first ever Class A Flyers Cup in 1998. Didn't win one again until within the last week or so. And both teams trying to win state gold for the first time ever. Both teams can score, of that much we're certain.
Yeah, looking at the statistics for these games, Matt, it's two teams offensively that have really found their stride and are scoring in large quantities. For the Garnet Valley Jaguars, they were the #1 seed in the Flyers Cup 1A bracket. They defeated Plymouth Whitemarsh 10-0 in the quarters. A really close game in the semis, 2-1 against Westchester East. And then in the Flyers Cup championship game, they defeated Henderson of Westchester 10-2. Garnet Valley outshot Henderson 46-28 in that game. Garrett Stoops, he faced 28 shots, made 26 saves. Matt, he even added an assist. So the goaltender is getting in on the offense, Nadalkovich or Jari from our end of the state. Kevin Walton had 3 goals, 2 assists. Nolan Scott had 3 goals, all in the second period for a natural hat trick. Aiden Delphin, 3 goals, 1 assist. Dylan Orr, Blake Platts, and Nicholas Donati each had a goal. They also won the Interscholastic Playoff Championship, defeating Radnor 4-0, Pencraft 7-4, and Haverford 10-0. So 6 playoff games, Matt, 43 goals for, averaging 7.1. 6 goals against, that's easy math. 1 goal per game, and 3 shutouts. So that's getting it done on both ends of the ice. And on the western side, the Antelopes of Avonworth, they've scored 6 a game. And then they busted out of that trend and scored 7 in the Penguin Cup. And what you and I were calling was a really surprising game against Mars that we expected goals we did not expect. What a sense was kind of a blowout. Running clock entering the third period. And they were led by Austin Dadovsky with 5 goals in that Penguin Cup championship game. He was on a roll. And Matt, some of my intel says that there was some noise being chirped on Twitter that really got the Antelopes fired up, and that was the result against Mars. So 2 high-scoring teams here tonight. We always say we expect goals will end up with like a 1-0 game, right? Well, never what we expect.
Well, it's interesting to watch the Lopes play because they've played every playoff game with a hair-on-fire urgency that their opponents, at least to this point, have had a very difficult time keeping pace with. And because they're a team, to your point, that has used the outside noise, the outside fuel, if you will, as fuel of their own. And Dadovsky became the first Penguins Cup finalist in 11 years to score 5 goals in a 1A Penguins Cup championship game. Quaker Valley's Connor Quinn was the last. Speaking of mighty Quaker Valley, they were upset by the Lopes in the quarterfinal round in a wild 6-5 game. Avonworth, prior to that, held serve against Blackhawk from nearby Beaver County. And in the Penguins Cup semifinals, they had a 3-goal outburst in the third period to hold off the division champion Moon Tigers of the Class A Blue Division, their division rivals in PIHL. And we told you about the curb stomping in the Penguins Cup final against a very talented Mars team. And a new rivalry might have been born out of that game, but here we've got the Jaguars and the Antelopes each looking to make history, and Avonworth is fighting history a little bit more than Garnet Valley is. It has been since 2012, and in this building, no less, that was the last time a Western team won the Class A Pennsylvania Cup, and Quaker Valley in 2012 was the last team to do so.
Yeah, I was looking at that while we were awaiting the start of this game. This is the 36th game in Class 1A. It started in 1989. The Plum Mustangs won. A lot of the guys on that team were my teammates and amateurs. Did a lot of work on the Golden Mile facility that was once there, and they all got to skate and play and really helped their program. PIHL's won 15 of 35. There was a stretch between 93 to 2002 between McCourt, Sarah, and then Sprinkle and Greensburg Central Catholic and LaSalle, where the PIHL won 10 in a row, but it's kind of flipped, where the East has now won 4 in a row. We skipped 2020, and then before that, Ruston had won 6 in a row. So that's now been 11 in a row for the East, East in 1A.
Let's meet these teams. Austin McLean.
Today, the PIHL presents the 2025 Class A state finals between the Flyers Cup champions, the Garnet Valley Jaguars, and the Penguins Cup champions, the Avonworth Antelopes. Introducing the Flyers Cup champions, the Garnet Valley Jaguars. Number 4, Evan Riley. Number 5, Gayer Kern. Number 9, Kevin Walton. Number 14, Jake Robinson. Number 21, Jake Morrow. Number 22, Chase Robinson. Number 32, Radek Zavon. Number 33, Leo Kakai. Number 37, Ryan McGee. Number 40, Garrett Stoops. Number 48, Jackson Zimbala. Number 52, Dylan Orr. Number 53, Jeremy Hiscock. Number 55, Wyatt Hagway. Number 65, Caden Longo. Number 72, Ralph Papa. Number 90, Matthew Abadiza. Number 91, Aiden Delphin. Number 92, Jordan Heinrich. Number 93, AJ Tenhusen. Number 95, Nolan Scott. Number 96, Nicholas Mera. And number 98, Owen Parker. The head coach for the Jaguars is Stephanie Charbonneau. Assistant coaches for the Jaguars, Jeff Lasher, Pat Conway, and Ralph Papa. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Garnet Valley Jaguars. And now, introducing the Penguins Cup champions, the Avonworth Antelopes. Number 0, Darren Patrick. Number 4, Jack Dolan. Number 11, Garrett Kramer. Number 17, Keeper Rubel Papa. Number 18, Mason Stover. Number 19, Sam Klein. Number 20, Cooper Powell. Number 21, Richard Walsh. Number 22, Johnny Smallwood. Number 23, Brendan Hennigan. Number 27, Connor Roston. Number 28, Ben Smallwood. Number 29, Colin Anderson. Number 33, Jimmy Shields. Number 53, Aaron O'Dell. Number 58, Nick Ursta. Number 72, Andrew Hetzko. Number 74, Linus Jastanowski. Number 77, Jackson Bucaro. Number 78, Austin Zatowski. Number 80, Randy Bevin. And number 91, Danny Mack. The head coach for the Antelopes is Chris Giussano. Assistant coaches, Ryan Morrison and Ian Etner. Tonight's linesmen are James Yance and Jimmy Cook. Tonight's referees are Erica Moore and Dave DeMonkis. Tonight's school judges are Ian McClingan and Joey Brinson. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for your 2025 Pennsylvania State Finalists. Now, to honor America and those who have served her, please rise as you're able, remove your hats, and direct your attention to the flags beside the scoreboard for the playing of our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare above bursting in them gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing of that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of
The Penguins Cup champion Antelopes, the Flyers Cup champion Jaguars. Dare I say, welcome to the jungle. First of 3 Pennsylvania Cup games on the day. And one way or another, we will have a first-time state champion in Class A in 2025, as we did a year ago when Hershey rallied to defeat previously undefeated Chartiers Valley. The Lopes, coached by Chris Chiasano for the first time this season. Chiasano, a veteran of coaching in the PIHL. He's worked with a number of programs. He's been an executive with the league for many years. Stefan Charbonneau, the Garnet Valley head coach, has coached a couple of Eastern Pennsylvania high school programs. He's been with this one long enough for it to truly be his team. And as a player, he was a career minor leaguer, but did play in 2 games in the 91-92 season for the Quebec Nordiques. Remember them, kids?
Love the Nordiques.
Yes.
Yeah, love the Nordiques. The Stastny brothers, the Blue, the Battle of the Province of Quebec. But so just to throw something in here, man, on my way here, I was stuck at a red light, and I saw a message on a board in front of a church, and it kind of applied today. I'm just going to paraphrase instead of get too deep, but it's an opportunity for these guys today on both sides to make some memories, right? I mean, some of these guys, they're going to be their final high school game. And that's what a state championship is, a kind of an exclamation point on a good season for the winner. And it's not a negative thing. It's just you don't complete if you lose, you still had a great season.
The Lopes control the opening faceoff and push the puck from right to left on your TV, computer, or mobile device to begin the Class A Pennsylvania Cup. Playing it deep is Dylan Orr. When your last name is Orr and you play on the blue line, you have a lot to live up to, and he's got 16 points in 13 games in league play this season. Jack Dolan draws the game's first penalty as Caden Longo touches up. Dolan, who has had power play goals in multiple playoff games in the West this year, incurs a tripping call against the team captain of the Jaguars, Flyers Cup MVP Nolan Stott.
Avonworth in the Penguin Cup playoffs, 7 for 14. Comes out for an even 50%.
Cooper Powell with the keep off the faceoff, trying to go to the side of the net, but it's cut off by Jake Robinson. Robinson unable to clear, turned it over to Dadovsky. Dadovsky, right circle, shooting out of play. Dadovsky, 9 playoff goals and 12 points. The Class A Penguins Cup playoff scoring leader. Avonworth on the Penny Power Play. Penny is Pennsylvania's official healthcare marketplace. Visit Penny, PENNIE.com today to see if you qualify for enrollment. Follow them on social media at Penny PA. Smallwood from behind the cage to Powell on the half wall. And it comes back to center for Kevin Walton, the Jags' leading scorer with 55 points. Walton trying to rag the puck himself on this Garnet Valley penalty kill as the Jags get it the rest of the way. Danny Mack, the Avonworth starting goaltender, the Iron Man of the Lopes, played every minute of every game this season. He and the Lopes icing this puck with 1:15 to go on the game's first power play.
Matt, shout out to all of our viewers from the eastern half of the state turning in to watch Garnet Valley. Welcome. That's the unique thing about this state with the extreme ends. We always get the audience from the other end.
Coming up to center was Hennigan. Powell outletting for Hennigan from his knees for Ralston. Ralston, the Avonworth captain, right circle. Behind the net, looking to go to Dolan. Ralston 2-0 covered. It comes to Powell. Powell shooting. It's off the stick of the defenseman. Longo was the one who deflected it out of play.
Well, good stick there by the penalty killer of the Jaguars. Put it in there, ramped it, which pushed it over both the goalie, the net, and everything. So face off in the offensive zone for the Antelopes here.
Sadovsky shooting right off the draw over the head of the goaltender, Stoops. Longo shorthanded for Garnet Valley. Off balance shot, Mack shoulders it aside. 40 to go in the Penny power play for Avonworth early in a scoreless game. Dolan takes the outlet, comes through center for the Lopes. Across the line for Ralston, backed up by Powell. Ralston tries to work around the defense. Ralston trying to kick that puck to himself. Dolan in the corner, trying to go to Hennigan out in front. Too many black jerseys in the way. Powell with time ticking away on the man advantage. Has it for the Lopes. Cooper Powell through the circle, taking his time.
Methodically.
Powell on the off wing makes his move. Powell to the front and unable to get the tip in was Hennigan. Final seconds of the power play. Ralston fanning on the attempted shot but kept it in the zone. The penalty to Stott has expired. We remain scoreless. The Lopes still have the puck. Hennigan bumped up high and now bumped from behind, and the Garnet Valley PK will have to go right back to work.
Good job by Hennigan there behind the net, Matt, to protect the puck and allow the Antelopes power play to get some changes. So he was basically a one-man forecheck at that point, and he was able to skate below the goal line, then come to the corner, and to get in that dangerous area, Matt, where you're a couple feet from the boards, and when you hit someone in the numbers right there, that's going to get called, particularly in amateur hockey, because that's a dangerous area. So Hennigan draws the penalty. He'll stay. He was the net front presence on that last one. He's going to stay here, probably go back there. But now it's going to be, I mentioned 7 for 14. They were 7 for 15. So now 7 for 16 in the playoffs on the power play. But you got to be cautious of the Jaguars. They have Walton and Robinson and Stott all have 3 shorties, as does Ebenezio. They all have 3 shorties, and Caden Longo has 2, as does Dylan Orr. So they're a dangerous team shorthanded.
Both these teams have a recent history of wanting to press shorthanded, and Garnet Valley is going to try. Here comes Walton. Walton is poke checked by Ralston, staying back. Dadovsky leading the charge for the Lopes on their second consecutive Penny power play. Right. Jaguars get the clear.
Right there, Matt, you can see Robinson leaking out, and they look for those headman passes to try to get pressure on the Antelopes defense.
The Lopes a step slow at the moment on special teams. Garnet Valley playing it outside the zone to Abenizio. Abenizio retreating inside his own line and sends the puck the rest of the way. Powell in the corner, has time and space, goes cross ice to Ralston. Ralston near side to Powell. Powell across the attacking line, stays with his puck, trying to get positioning on Morrow. Dolan has it. Dolan trying to go up top to Bevan. The pass was errant. Midway through the second Avonworth power play, Bevan retreating and banks it off the boards up ahead to Dudovsky, the alternate captain. Dudovsky trying to thread the needle. He can't. Quick transition for Aiden Delphin, who had a hat trick in that Flyers Cup final. Delphin also dangerous with the puck, averaging almost 2 points per game in limited action during the inter-county regular season. Under half a minute to go in the power play. Anderson with a dump in. Garnet Valley unable to clear that puck. They'll try a second time. Anderson waiting toward goal. That save is made by Stoops. The rebound controlled by the Lopes and put to the corner. Shields unable to catch up to it. It bonks off a Garnet Valley helmet, and goes all the way to Danny Mack. So 2 big kills early here by the Jaguars to settle the game down as we remain scoreless. Longo out of the sin bin. Shields over the line. Too much traffic for him to get that puck on net. Odell trying to center. He can't. Stott near side. Nobody home except Anderson. Jeremy Heisa retreating to play that puck for the Jaguars. Turned it over to Powell. Powell from an angle. That save made by Stoops. And let's meet Garrett Stoops, the Garnet Valley goaltender.
639 minutes. He's got a record of 11-2. Faced 201 shots, 19 goals against, 152 average, 90.5 save percentage, 3 shutouts. It's all regular season stats.
Across all competitions, 19 wins, a save percentage of .900 on the nose, and the intercounty leader by goals against average at 161. Centering pass, that shot is shanked off the stick of Delphin. Nick Ersta up to center. Linus Jesenowski, one of 3 20-goal scorers for the Lopes this season, still absent and has been since the quarterfinals of Penguins Cup playoff action. Ersta and company seeing more ice time as a result. Lopes trying to exit their own zone. This puck is off a couple bodies and back to center. Jags have to tag up. They do. Walton over the line, met immediately by Johnny Smallwood and company. Garnet Valley retreating or inside his own zone with Avonworth going for a line change, outletting over 2 lines to Walton. Walton on his off wing dropped it back. That pass intended for Chase Robinson, who got it to the corner. Easy stick save there at the far post for Danny Mack. Or back on his horse one more time. Hennigan bearing down on him as the Jags go D to D. Hit from behind by Klein, and that'll be an obvious penalty against the Avonworth Antelopes. The first penny power play of the game, I'm sorry, Kevin, for the Garnet Valley Jaguars forthcoming.
Same explanation I gave for the Garnet Valley penalty from the hit bomb from behind. It's a dangerous area. I know you're kind of jazzed up a little bit for the state final, but you got to be in control. The Antelopes seem like they're a little bit sleeping with this early face-off time. As you mentioned in the open, they were kind of coming out blazing in the Penguin Cup playoff games and not so far in this state championship game.
The feeling out process continues. And in the meantime, the Jaguars go to the penny power play in a scoreless game with Klein feeling shame for 2 minutes and then getting free. From the near side, it's controlled by Jake Morrow to the corner for Longo. Longo up top to Morrow. Morrow above the circle toward Danny Mack. He makes that save through the sea of humanity. And the Lopes, feeded by their student section, get the clear.
You see here, Garnet Valley's going to do a double swing, and the Antelopes are in an eye. That's not a good formation against this breakout. It's going to be too easy for Garnet Valley to get out of the zone.
Under 10 to go in a scoreless first period. Jaguars skating 5 against 4. Up top it goes. Morrow shooting, scoring! Holy shirts and pants! What a shot by Jake Morrow! 10 assists in 15 games during the inter-county season, and he's got a goal in the Pennsylvania Cup to get Garnet Valley started with 9:42 left in the first.
Well, we see here the entry was just too easy for Garnet Valley, man. I talked about that, and the Antelopes got overflowed to the left side, leaving that weak side point man wide open. So they overcommitted to the near side, trying to angle off the entry, and that point man was wide open. As you mentioned, it was an easy catch as a left shot, look up, and he buried it in the top corner for the first goal of the game.
Shields across the line, slips it to Ralston. Ralston off balance, centering pass. Powell is too well covered. One of the Jaguars knocked down. Charbonneau, the Garnet Valley coach, wanted a call there, none forthcoming, but the Garnet Valley Jaguars do convert on their first power play chance of the game, and they lead Avonworth 1-0.
And Matt, from the stats I see, that's Morrow's first goal of the season.
What a time to get it. Smallwood back to center. Powell over the attacking line for the Lopes. Powell shooting off a stick. Lopes working to the side of the net. It was behind Ralston. You get the feeling Avonworth is trying to do just a little bit too much right now as the Jags crash in on Danny Mack. He makes that save. Off balance shot denied again by Mack. Jake Robinson unable to score on the follow-up. Kevin Walton was the one who started that whole rush for Garnet Valley. Abenizio defensively around the near boards. Back to center. Dolan is there for Avonworth. Dudovsky over the line. Dudovsky from distance. Off a stick, out of play.
Well, that was a good gap right there by the defenseman for the Jaguars as Dudovsky crossed the blue line. There was not a lot of room there. He still decided on his off wing to take that shot. Dudovsky, 9 goals, 3 assists in the Penguin Cup playoffs as he steps into the dot there, Matt. And that's a situation where he has to read that gap, and with the defense tight, use the shot fake and try to go wide.
Officially, the goal reads Morrow from Stott. Stott, the leading defenseman scorer in the Inter-County League this season. He is now on a 12-game point streak that stood at 11 through the Flyers Cup playoffs.
And Matt, what we didn't expect is Avonworth to not look sharp offensively after all the goals they've been scoring.
Garnet Valley trying to give the Lopes a taste of their own medicine and overwhelm them with their forecheck, as they have done in Eastern Pennsylvania play throughout 24-25. They were a very dominant team, as you alluded to earlier, in the Flyers Cup tournament, winning 2 of their 3 games by very comfortable margins, scoring 10 goals twice, including the final. Near side, it's played for Orr.
Good. Trying
to go to Robinson, stolen by Powell. Powell trying to bring it wide. Ran out of room. It's deflected in! It's time to play Plinko with Cooper Powell. And we're tied at 1 with 7:17 to play. And the Avonworth faithful break out the rally towels here on the island.
Trying to get a look at that one, Matt. It was a good stick in the neutral zone to create the turnover. And then right here, I think it's 33 that goes to the net, and he just angles the stick. Powell with a good stick in the neutral zone, get the turnover. The nice delay, Matt, that was the key to the play. Cross the blue line, pull up and delay. Throw it to the net. No, it was Powell.
For now, it will be his goal. Either way, make it a 10-game point streak, Penguins Cup playoffs included, for Cooper Powell. He had 7 points altogether in the Western PA playoffs for the Penguins Cup champs. Jaguars looking to counterpunch here with 6:40 to go in the period. Floating puck in on Mack, and he got a piece of that. Avonworth clears the rebound. Chance up ahead for Hennigan. No icing. Hennigan trying to play it with one hand. Credit Morrow for getting positioning on him. To the side of the net it'll come. Mulch unable to control it. Tenhusen Up ahead to Stotts. Stotts shooting on Mack, and it came out the other side. Mack made the save, and the rebound trickled through the blue paint. Dudovsky looking for a passing lane. Hennigan couldn't take that. Officials again say no icing. Avonworth changing on the fly. Odell controlling for the Lopes. Shields involved in that first Avonworth goal, puts it on net from distance, and Stoops will glove that 90-footer.
Man, I'm going to speculate, since they awarded that to Powell, that maybe that went off the defenseman's stick and not Shields going to the near post.
That could be the case.
Because I thought for sure Shields redirected that.
Now, either way, the Lopes just weren't getting enough pucks on net till that point, and that's exactly why you need to get pucks on net. You get a bounce like that.
I thought it was Powell that did a good job creating a turnover and then the delay and then throw it at the net.
Ralston trying to keep up with Walton. Walton skating really well. Out in front, the one-timer is denied by Mack. From one knee, he denies Delphin. Ralston in transition. Trying to bounce it to himself, spun off the puck by Delphin. Jags on the counterattack, 3-on-2. Walton on the off wing. Walton to the goal. Can't slip it behind Mack. Mack with a glove save, and in the meantime, Austin McLean corroborates us. It is Powell's goal on away, and all the way, and for the moment, it's unassisted.
That has to be the explanation. So we're going to go with the Powell, threw it at the net, looking for his teammate Shields, and it must have hit the defenseman's stick and went up over the goalkeeper and into the net.
Powell with 26 regular season goals has continued his torrid pace in the playoffs. Ersta unable to get that puck any further than the visitors' bench. Garnet Valley coming over the attacking line. Drop pass to Chase Robinson. He's dumped right in front of the Avonworth goaltender, Danny Mack. That was Nick Ersta laying the lumber. Pakailo dispossessed, and one of the Jaguars lost his stick on the back check, but no harm, no foul. Final 5 of the first period, 1-1 here in the Pennsylvania Cup Class A final. Avonworth and Garnet Valley. Anderson spun off the puck at center.
He had his head down.
Dolan inside the zone, sent quickly the other way by Morrow, the Garnet Valley goal-getter. Dolan, the Lopes nearly turned that puck over in a dangerous spot, but Dolan got back in time to play it. Now the Lopes are under some duress deep in their own zone as Anderson sends it around the boards. It's cut off by Jake Morrow. Stott from the far corner. Threw it past everything and everybody. Lopes, Murphy dumped this puck to center. Cooper Powell advancing it. Mulch offside, and that's a big break for Garnet Valley.
It was, and he was offsides.
He was, I agree.
We could see that from up here. You could tell he was a stride ahead and he was going to go offsides. We don't need the video replay booth for that one. But Matt, I don't know if the Antelopes partied a little too much this week, but they look kind of tired. I think they were playing a very short bench due to injuries in the Penguin Cup, so I don't know if that's catching up to them. But they do not seem to have the jump that we saw the other night. And I was worried about that with that third period that wasn't really intense. You know, it's kind of, we talked about that on the air. To get back into it when you just kind of have a go through the motions third period up 7-0.
Yeah, there are teams that can turn it on and off like a faucet, and there are teams when, a layoff of some kind or, you lose rhythm or momentum, that can play a role. But the Lopes, to their credit, have battled back to even the score with 3:45 left in the first. Mulch trying to kick it in behind the net. Dylan Orr in the thick of that battle for Garnet Valley. And Bevan with a good keep there off his skates. Right to Mulch. Mulch through a crowd. Good save there by Stoops. Had to fight to see that puck through the screen. Hennigan trying to play it out in front for Dudovsky. Backhand try. Stoops had to make that save. Orr around the near side. Good forecheck by Avonworth late in the period. They try to go out in front. Again, too many black shirts in the way. Lopes unable to retain that puck as it's sent up to center for Delphin. Delphin with space on the right side. Cross ice, threw it behind Walton. Walton pressured back to the neutral zone. Re-enters the Avonworth end and shoots it on Mack. Mack makes the save, and Mack holds on. Oh, Walton thought he had the 5-hole all to his own, but Danny Mack had other ideas.
And Matt, that's a example of the size, skill, and speed that Walton has right there. He was able to corral that puck and come across the ice, circle the zone, and come down his off wing and really get some momentum. And Mack was able to make that save.
Hard hit at the Avonworth line. Walton scoring hat tricks in 2 of 3 Flyers Cup playoff rounds this season for Garnet Valley. Led the team and tied for 3rd in the Intercounty League with 33 goals across all competitions as the Jaguars get the lead back. Caden Longo going coast to coast like the Space Ghost with 2:32 to play in the first period, and this time Danny Mack did not have the 5-hole covered.
Well, mistakes and capitalizing on mistakes, Matt, and it was a bad turnover by Dolan in the neutral zone for Avonworth, and it was Longo who was able to pick that up. Caden Longo is going to cash in for his 9th of the playoffs, the 22nd goal of the season for the Jaguars, and I've been a little worried watching this defense for the Avonworth Antelopes. They've been holding the offensive line. They almost got caught on a rush just a few minutes ago, and then that time it was fumbled in the neutral zone and they picked it up.
Tadovsky countering, shooting right into the glove hand of Stoops. I'm at the point where I hold my breath every single time Tadovsky touches the puck after what we saw a few nights ago.
Well, when I saw he had it, I cut short my comments so that you could pick it up knowing it was Tadovsky. That would have been a tremendous answer for Avonworth.
So Caden Longo, who had 6 points in the Flyers Cup playoffs for the Jaguars, has given Garnet Valley a late first period advantage. Jaguars push it up to center. Jack Dolan starts it the other way for Avonworth. Pukailo was wide open. He tries to go there, but the pass was just a little too far.
Good play there at that time by Dolan to step forward and get a turnover and get it deep.
Tadovsky with a takeaway. Tadovsky down the middle, shooting, found metal, but not mesh. And it remains a 1-goal margin. Chase Robinson to the corner. Lopes try to get it back to center. Outlet pass for Tadovsky. Tadovsky is the only player who knows where that puck is. He hits the brakes. Now he fires from the circle. Stoops, not sure if he got a piece of that or if it was blocked. I think Morrow might have gotten in his path.
I think Delphin chose not to play that to avoid the 2 men on the ice call.
Shields and Avonworth regrouping. 2-line pass, glanced into Garnet Valley ice. Ralston tied up. Loose puck, Lopes have it. Powell persisting. Cooper Powell, who has Avonworth's only goal thus far, in the corner, slips it over to Ralston, gets it back. Powell going cross ice, but nobody home. Jaguars out across the Avonworth line. Here is Delphin. Centering pass too heavy. Walton in the corner. Trying to go behind the Avonworth net. Delphin out in front. Mack was ready with the stick. Jaguars take it back, or pinching to keep the forecheck alive with half a minute left in the period. Mack plays it off his goaltender's blade out in front. Lopes force it back to center. A hasty change by Chris Chiasano and the Avonworth Antelopes as the Jaguars come in offside with under 20 ticks to talk.
Avonworth needs to be cautious of their D-zone coverage. The high forward, the net forward for the Jaguars is finding a lot of space right there. Just a lot of details to be corrected here on the discussion at the end of the period.
Stott, the Garnet Valley captain, went after that puck off the faceoff, but the Lopes, they turn it over to Stott. Stott knocked off the disc by Odell. 3 seconds left. Avonworth not going to have time to generate another chance on Garrett Stoops. There's the buzzer, and we will step aside with the Garnet Valley Jaguars leading the Avonworth Antelopes 2-1 after one. I'm Matt Popchock with Kevin Zielmanski. You're watching the Pennsylvania Cup on TenbandTV and Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by Fibernew.
you for calling Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. How can I help you?
I need help paying my health insurance premiums.
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest costs on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. FiberNew specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
And it comes back to Lucas Blows. Hey, rookie, welcome to the show, the Penguins Cup Championship show, the Penguins Cup playoff show, and the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars putting on a show. Tell the boys and girls.
First period shots on goal. Garnet Valley Jaguars 10, Avonworth Antelopes 7, where it counts. Jaguars 2, Antelopes 1. The side switch has occurred, and second period action is a go as Walton tries to go cross ice. The Lopes are well positioned, and they play this puck back to center. Matt Popchock with Kevin Zielmanski for the Class A Pennsylvania Cup on TenbandTV and Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by FiberNew. Jack Dolan, not sure where that puck is, trying to play it off the glove legally. Malsh to the boards for Avonworth. Jaguars play it in behind the cage. Jake Robinson involved for the Jaguars as the Lopes get it up to center. Walton on his backhand, crisscrossing with Hennigan of Avonworth. Walton chased by Smallwood. Walton trying to shoot it from the side of the net, couldn't. Just ran out of real estate. Keeps this puck, fires wide of Danny Mack.
It's got to be a body right there. Can't let him step around you.
Heisa and company play this in off Mack. Mack calmly knocks it aside for Bevan. Bevan had a big goal in the semifinal round of the Penguins Cup playoffs to get the Lopes started en route to a victory over division rival Moon. Shields from long range, easy save there for Stoops, who will leave nothing to chance.
So some first period observations, Matt. These two teams seem pretty competitive. You know, the level of play is, you know, we've seen in some of the 1A games recently has been way off because of the differences in how the West and the East decides who's in 1A. But this one looks like it could be competitive the whole time, which is good to see.
Once again, the West trying to break a 13 calendar year drought of Eastern PA teams winning the Class A Pennsylvania Cup game. Garnet Valley trying to win their first state crown as a program. They've been around for 31 years. The Lopes have only been around since 2019. They entered PIHL as a co-op program, coached at the time by Stephen LaShawn. They began as a pure classification as Mack makes a gorgeous save in 2022, right at the far post. And that one feels kind of important.
And I think one of the, I might got this wrong, but Matt, one of the early coaches for Garnet Valley was a guy by the name of Mark Bobko, who was an assistant at Central Catholic here when I was a player back in the late 80s. So if he's watching and listening, shout out to Mark. His kid played for Downingtown East a couple times when they were here.
And to wit, whether you're from the West or from the East, we love seeing the game grow, and we love seeing those family stories, the family ties, as the Lopes are going to go to the penalty box for the second time in this state final. Hockey is the ultimate long-haul sport. Wear and tear are inevitable over the long haul, especially when it comes to wear and tear on your home or office furniture. If you want to make like a goalie and flash that leather with pride, visit FIBRenew.com to find a FiberRenew location near you, or call 888-597-2951 to get a free estimate today.
Thanks to all of our sponsors for helping out, bringing this to you today.
Garnet Valley is 1 for 1 on the penny power play, and they keep this puck inside the zone. Or for Walton. Walton unable to tee it up. Walton creating space, cross ice to a wide open Orr firing on Danny Mack, who makes the save. Lopes having trouble clearing the rebound, and they do off the stick of Morrow.
Walton wants it, Matt. He's looking for it.
One of the top goal scorers in the Commonwealth in 24-25. Jaguars offside.
So one of the other things I've noticed in this first period, both defensemen.
Second period, you mean?
Well, what I noticed in the first.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The defensemen for both teams are being very aggressive holding the line, very aggressive stepping up in the neutral zone. So you can exploit that. You can exploit that with some touch redirects, some overlaps in the neutral zone, chips pass, some counter pinch things. So I'm going to see if the teams look to exploit some of that here in the second and third period.
Breakout pass there for Orr. Orr dumps it in behind the Lopes goal. Stott waiting at the half wall. He's hit from behind. Puck stays inside the zone for Morrow, but not for long. The Lopes, they love to press shorthanded, and Cooper Powell, the best penalty killer arguably in the PIHL, was that close to an opportunity on the shorthanded breakout. 50 to go in the minor penalty. Across the line is Longo, who gave Garnet Valley the lead late in that first period. Powell wins the battle, and he forces it back to center. Cooper Powell on his backhand, pulls it to the forehand. Powell through the offwing, trying to drive the net, and does. The net is dislodged as Connor Ralston, I should say, is dislodged himself at the side of the net.
Able to create a turnover in the neutral zone, and Powell counter. He was up in the play on the forecheck, and then, Matt, he chose to skate back. If you're going to be up in the play and you want to try to stop it, it does you no good to back up near the blue line, because you're just giving the players on the breakout time to get their feet moving and generate speed, and it's more easy to go around you when you're standing still. I like to try to meet them as they're coming out from around the net or before they kind of get their momentum going, if you're going to choose to try to forecheck that.
I think if you haven't seen the Avonworth Antelopes play, you're almost caught off guard by how fearless they are in these penalty killing situations. They are not shy about taking chances. 20 to go, make that 15 in the minor penalty as Walston brings it across the line. Mulch with a steal, Mulch 1 against 2, Mulch over the line, Mulch bumped off that puck, good play there by Heisa to stick with him. The penalty is expired as Orr brings it across the Avonworth line. It bounces off a skate and right to Walton. Walton blasts it off a skate and in! Kevin Walton nuzzles that nylon, and it's the Jaguars by a pair.
Well, kind of an unfortunate goal for Avonworth. Garnet Valley getting the kind of the redirect. Didn't get a great look at that one. Maybe if we get a chance to run that again. But now it's going to be a 3-1 lead for Garnet Valley.
Kevin Walton, one of the leading scorers in the Flyers Cup tournament, regardless of classification, with 6 goals and 9 points. Has a goal in the Pennsylvania Cup for Garnet Valley, and they get that extender despite not scoring on the penny power play as Powell just misses from the high slot area. One-timer by Shields, good save by Stoops at the far post. The Lopes, to their credit, they're not getting demoralized. You don't sense that they're becoming unraveled when something regrettable happens. They go right back on the attack, and they force an offensive zone faceoff.
Well, I mean, that's the best way, anything you can do, Matt, is you can't wallow in it. You got to try to counter and answer as quickly as possible. That used to be the message I would deliver on the bench quite often. You know, you got to kind of, I think you referred to it as a goldfish type mentality, and just forget about it quickly.
Got to channel that inner Ted Lasso, indeed. Klein, who was in the penalty box for one of those earlier Garnet Valley power plays, plays it out to center. Heisa sends it right back into Avonworth ice with 11:45 till the ice cut. Shields deflecting it beyond center red. Heisa on the left side Up ahead intended for Longo, couldn't take it. Water finds its level, and it certainly seemed like just a matter of time before Walton, a great goal scorer, would get his. Zadovsky, left circle, shooting high and wide.
Well, that one, Walton, I have as his 13th in the playoffs, assist to Dylan Orr, number 52. Walton's been on a tear. From the stats I saw, he 21-16 in the regular season, 37 points. Entering this one, he had 12-6 for an additional 18 points, now 13 total in the playoffs, and has given the Jaguars a 2-goal lead with just as we approach 11 minutes remaining here in this second period.
And one thing the Jaguars do well is get offense from their defense as they get another defenseman Orr picking up an assist here today.
And Matt, that ties into what I was talking about, the defensemen on both sides being aggressive. You can make it work if you're successful, but it is risky if you don't make the play.
The Lopes force it deep into the corner. Dadovsky in the thick of that puck battle. Jaguars break it out to center. Walton over the line one more time for Garnet Valley. Walton driving the net, shooting off the stick of Dolan, and it stays in place somehow. I think I was as surprised by that as the Jaguars were, quite frankly. But that puck is still live, and Avonworth has it as Pukailo gets tied up. Lopes fans won a penalty as Pukailo took some extra abuse there inside his own zone, but we play on. Hennigan around a man. Hennigan from an angle shooting it on Stoops, and he cradles that puck in his equipment.
Well, that one kind of worked out for Hennigan right there. He tried to make a move and lost it, and it was able to slowly slide past the D and get step around them. I've seen a lot of outnumbered chances for the Avonworth, disadvantaged chances. So that time, like 1-on-2, you got to be willing, when you don't have the numbers in your favor, Matt, to dump it deep and get it on a forecheck. And it kind of worked that time despite whiffing on it. Penalty upcoming against Avonworth.
Interference is going to be the call. Garnet Valley with a chance right out in front of Mack, and they score off the delayed call. Nolan Stott, the captain, makes it happen, and the Jaguars have opened the floodgates a bit here in period 2 with 10:07 to play.
For Stott, that's going to be his 14th of the season, first of the playoffs. And again, Matt, what was I talking about? What did Avonworth do? They held the line, made the hit. It was a penalty that was going to be called, and it gave one of the dangerous players for Garnet Valley an opportunity on a rush in transition. And this is a good timeout by Chris Giasano right here to try to get the troops to calm down and regroup.
Garnet Valley 4, Avonworth 1, just over 10 to go in period 2 of the Class A Pennsylvania Cup. Live coverage of the Pennsylvania Cup on TenbandTV and Trib Live High School Sports Network is brought to you by Drusky Entertainment. Visit DruskyENT.com for a complete calendar of their upcoming live shows, including A Flock of Seagulls at Jurgles Rhythm and Grill, Thursday, April 17th, Blood, Sweat, and Tears at Jurgles, Thursday, May 29th, and comedian Drew Lynch at Carnegie of Homestead Music Hall, Saturday, June 7th. Congratulations to Drusky on 20 great years of entertainment, and thank you for supporting high school hockey coverage here in the 2025 postseason on TenbandTV and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. He's Kevin Zielmanski, the former PIHL Pennsylvania Cup champion coach. I'm Matt Popchock. I would know because I was there. Any memories of Pennsylvania Cup Day, Kevin?
2011. Well, I remember how tired my guys were towards the end of the game, and I had to take a timeout. One of the things that's really burned into my memory, Matt, is they gave the trophy to Frank Vance, my captain, and I expected them to go for a skate. He immediately turned and handed it to me first, which is very unexpected. And, you know, because there had been so many times and so many years that I failed to get it, and, you know, he thought that I should get it first. So I remember that. I remember the bus ride down. It was just a great experience. We won it out in Iceline in Westchester 14 years ago, Matt.
Hard to believe it's been that long, and that was the last Western PA sweep of the Pennsylvania Cup final we saw as well, as Canavan and Mars and Upper St. Clair were all victorious in the state finals that year.
A neat fact from that St. Clair team, one of the stars, C.J. Murray, is now a linesman in the NHL.
Yes.
So good for him.
And he was a very prolific goal scorer in the PIHL for years, so he's certainly gone on to even bigger and better things, and another one of the nicer kids from a media perspective to deal with, in my experience, in that era. I hadn't heard the name Frank Vance in forever. What a happy-go-lucky, unselfish kid he was, and what you described sounds exactly like something he would do.
Never rattled. He was always composed and calm. 4 varsity letters: golf, hockey, and baseball.
Incredible. Danny Mack making a save right out of the timeout. Aiden Delphin and the Jaguars, all gas, no brakes, trying to add to the 3-goal lead here. As we return to present day, Chris Giussano trying to restore sanity for the first-time state finalists. Walton forcing the save from Mack. It's still loose. Is it in? It is not. Smallwood and company kept it out. Lead pass to Shields. Shields knocked off that puck by Heisa. Midway through the second period, Avonworth with a 3-goal mountain to climb against Garnet Valley. Jaguars bring it across the line. Dylan Orr with a chance. Orr cutting to the goal. Good block there by Dolan. Dolan's becoming one of the premier defensemen here in the West, offensively and defensively. Right down the middle, a shot on Mack, the save again, and Danny Mack suddenly is target practice. Speaking of targets,
going to have a few penalties here.
.8:16 to play, second period.
I see 3 players on the other end of the referee pointing. So I don't know if Avonworth's going to be down a man here. You get a look at the right there. There's a couple of shoves to the cages on both sides.
Cooper Powell, who has Avonworth's only goal, is having a good chuckle as he goes to the box. And Garnet Valley will be penalized as well, despite the righteous indignation of their own traveling fan base.
He wanted to keep the broken stick in the penalty box, and the official wouldn't let him do it. I don't know why you'd want to keep a broken stick. He's going to get the replacement for him, so when he comes out, he has a stick.
The second period Garnet Valley goals officially Walton from Orr, followed by Stott from Tenhusen, roughly 2.5 minutes apart. Stott with a multi-point game today for the Jags.
Last thing about 2011, you kind of look basically the same. I've got a lot more gray hair.
Well, thank you, sir. You have aged gracefully, I must say, and I mean that. I truly do.
That's because I gave up coaching.
What's the old saying? There's a reason that coaches have gray hair?
Yeah.
I've heard there's quite a few, actually. Jaguars and the Lopes remain 5-on-5 despite the fracas you just saw. Mulch from his own blue line up to Dolan. Dolan surrounded by a number of Jaguars as Garnet Valley will ice this puck with under 7:40 remaining.
Critical moment in this game for everyone to kind of take a deep breath and chill a little bit. We don't want to see anything get out of hand, which can happen and has happened in years in the past to schools that you don't really see unless you're in the state final. Avonworth needs to regroup. They're playing their own zone leaves a lot to be desired, to say the least, and they're being pushed a little bit, which they haven't been in the Penguin Cup playoffs.
Rolston lost that puck off his stick, but Bevan comes in to back up the play. Bevan from the left wing boards, on goal, and Stoops almost let that one sneak through, but he made the save. They got to get some more pucks to Garrett Stoops, too. He's been able to take a little bit of an early Easter holiday in this second period. Rolston from the edge of the circle. Rolston out in front. There's a stick save by the Jaguars netminder. Around the boards, it'll come to Smallwood. Smallwood toward the cage. That's cut out. Good play with a stick there by Abanizio. Walton driving the left circle. Walton from the short side, unable to beat Mack. Jaguars scrambling to complete their line change, and Abenizio scrambling to get to that abandoned puck. Up it comes for Orr. Orr through the left wing circle, unable to shoot it on Mack. Dolan able to mess with his mojo. Ralston, the Avonworth captain, up to center. Gains the red line, sends it in off the glass. Lopes changing quickly. Mulch with a hit there on one of the Jaguars. That was Heisa who was contacted. Saucer pass and then some for Walton. Walton shooting on Mackey, makes a save, covers the rebound.
Well, it was a good decision to dump it, get the line change. Mulch did a good job putting some pressure on, but Antelope on the far side, he kind of caught in the middle, going too low, allowed an easy D to wing breakout, and they're back in their own zone. So got to read the play a little better.
Loops trying to force this puck back to center. Great work ethic here by Garnet Valley to keep it in the Avonworth attacking zone. Longo behind the net, off the work by Stott. Anderson tying up his man behind the Avonworth cage. Dudovsky going to work defensively for Avonworth. Around the boards, kept in by Orr. Orr trying to go cross ice, had Longo open. Loops out to center, Hennigan quickly to Mulch. Mulch skating wide, good hustle by Orr to catch him up. Stott near side from his own zone. Cross ice. Tenhusen leaves it in behind the Antelopes goal. Anderson defensively. Lopes just not quite in sync on that breakout with 5.5 till the ice cut. Sent back in by the Jaguars. Mack off his line to play that puck for Klein. Centering pass cut out by Bevan. Kept just inside the line for a moment by Morrow. Jaguars go to the goal. It's played back to Morrow. Lopes just trying to support their goaltender Mack any way they can and put a foot down here, down by 3. Ralston.
They got numbers if they hurry.
Up to center. Ralston skating wide. Ralston from an angle, shooting through the blue paint. Slapped on goal off a body. That's blocked. Put wide of Stoops on the follow-up by Shields. And again, Avonworth just doesn't look like they have a lot of gas left in the tank as the Jaguars just missed the goal there. The give and go with Jake Robinson was not to be.
Too many odd man rushes. There was another one.
Ersta with a dump in for Avonworth.
It's too easy after the dump in.
Dolan trying to get a step on his man, Tenhusen. He does. Dolan with 5 points in the Penguins Cup playoffs, 21 in the PIHL regular campaign. One of 6 Lopes to earn an All-Star nod and play in the All-Star game here on the island. Matt Popchock and Kevin Zielmanski from the Clearview Arena here at the RMU Island Sports Center for Pennsylvania Cup Saturday 2025 as the Garnet Valley Jaguars, who lead this game 4-1 in Class A competition, ice the puck.
Next goal is going to be huge, Matt. Not to state the obvious, but if Avonworth can get one to put it 4-2 going into intermission, a little more pressure on the Jaguars for the third period. If it gets to be 5-1, that might be a hill too high, mountain too high to climb for Avonworth in the third period.
The Jaguars did not lose to a team at the Class A Pennsylvania level this season. Their only 2 losses in league play prior to the Central League playoffs were to a Class 2A team, Haverford, who has been to the Pennsylvania Cup finals multiple times.
Yeah, they were last at the Lemieux Center to play Baldwin the year that Baldwin won. I called that game.
Stott backpedaling under some pressure in his own zone from the other captain, Connor Ralston. And Ralston's a player who has to find a way to get going for the Lopes, you figure, if they want to get back into this game. Their dynamic duo just hasn't really been able to get anything going here today, Powell's goal notwithstanding. Shields plays it wide of the crease. Ralston knocked on his backside by Heisa. Jaguars bring it to center. Here's Stott. Using those legs to get it over the line, but he's greeted near side by Anderson. Lopes on the counter. Shields from distance. Forces the offensive zone face-off again.
If we run back that shot right there, you'll see Shields crosses the blue line, and he's got 3 black jerseys surrounding him back. The 2 defensemen and the first forward back in the zone, and there's really not much you could do. I mean, there's a good play right inside the blue to get the transition going for Avonworth, but as we chip it to Shields, watch, he hits the red line. What do you see? 1 white jersey and 3 black jerseys. There's just not enough numbers offensively, and here's the 2-on-1 for the Jaguars.
Jaguars looking to add to their commanding lead. This time Danny Mack does enough to interrupt the play on his doorstep. Cooper Powell stays with this bounding puck. Hennigan over skating. Powell ties up his man. Powell from his feet playing it out in front. Oh, the one-timer misfired from Avonworth. Overloading that left side of the ice. Dudovsky now tied up by Abanizio. And the Jaguars are able to get it clear.
Here's it, as Matt staying in the neutral zone. The
Ryan McGee, sorry Kevin, with room to maneuver. Played that puck to the corner.
That's... We both looked.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Oh, the Lopes getting some clemency perhaps as Dudovsky forces a save from Stoops above the right circle. The way things are going for Avonworth, I thought that was going to be
it's only
a 2-minute penalty.
Right there, there's the shot on goal. Hennigan going to the net hard, looking for the rebound. Here's a good time right here, Matt, for an offensive zone draw to win something cleanly, but Garnet Valley wins it back into the corner.
The Lopes come up with a turnover, but aren't able to move that puck up the boards. Walton coming back to center, lead pass intended for Orr had it go off his stick. It's knocked aside at the last second by Mack. Good read there by Ralston. Ralston counterattacking late in the period for Avonworth. Ralston through the left circle, bouncing it on goal. The save made by Stoops. Garnet Valley controls the rebound.
Good angle defensively to push Ralston down deep in the corner.
Walton with a little toe drag maneuver. Unable to outsmart Bevan. It's turned over to Walton now behind the Avonworth net. Mack plays it aside. Lopes trying to use the boards to their advantage, but Heisa keeps it in for Garnet Valley, and he knocks down Ralston. Ralston wanted a penalty there. He's not going to get one. Mack covers at the post with 40 seconds to go to the ice cut.
Avonworth's going to have to dig deep here, Matt. Get a little rest at the intermission. Get some refuel with the orange slices or whatever they can. But they do not look like the same team offensively that we saw on Monday night.
And I think you pretty much read my mind, which I'll get to in a second as Mulch tries to go cross ice for Powell, but the pass was erroneous. Out in front, intended for Dudovsky, broken up. Dolan from distance, deflected high and wide. Powell at the side of the net, trying to jam it in. He can't. Lopes with some good pressure at the end of the period. Dolan winds and fires. That goes wide as well. Powell trying to tie up Heisa. 7 seconds left. Lopes need to hurry, and the referee needs to get out of the way for that matter as the period ends, with the Lopes unable to get another shot on net. I do think this intermission comes at a good time for Avonworth and maybe a less good time for Garnet Valley, which was feeling it in period 2.
Yeah, it was a good period for Garnet Valley to extend the lead from 2-1 to 4-1. They seem to have a lot more momentum and a lot more offensive plays going to get the attack rolling for the Jaguars. And I think you're right on both sides there, Matt. One didn't want it to end, except for the fact that they want to get to the end of the game.
And we will get there eventually, but first, the ice cut intermission. Garnet Valley Jaguars 4, Avonworth Antelopes 1, with Kevin Zielmanski, Matt Popchock on board for the Class A Pennsylvania Cup on 10-Band TV and Trib Live High School Sports Network. presented by Weight Loss Direct.
And it's a hockey night in Pittsburgh.
And I'll meet you in the schoolyard, baby, for all the marbles.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. How can I help you?
I need help paying my health insurance premiums.
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest costs on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. FiberNew specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
And it comes back to Lucas Blows. Hey, rookie, welcome to the show, the Penguins Cup Championship show, the Penguins Cup playoff show, and the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars putting on a show. Tell the boys and girls I just don't care.
Force one more time. Hennigan bearing down on him as the Jags go D to D. Hit from behind by Klein, and that'll be an obvious penalty against the Avonworth Antelopes.
For Garnet Valley to get out of the zone.
Under 10 to go in a scoreless first period. Jaguars skating 5 against 4. Up top it goes. Morrow shooting, scoring! Holy shirts and pants! What a shot by Jake Morrow! Trying to go to Robinson, stolen by Powell. Powell trying to bring it wide. Ran out of room. It's deflected in! It's time to play Plinko with Cooper Powell, and we're tied at 1. Advancing it. Mulch offside, and that's a big break for Garnet Valley.
It was, and he was offsides.
He was, I agree. Pressured back to the neutral zone. Re-enters the Avonworth end and shoots it on Mack. Mack makes the save, and Mack holds on. Cup playoff rounds this season for Garnet Valley. Led the team and tied for 3rd in the Inter-County League with 33 goals across all competitions as the Jaguars get the lead back. Caden Longo going coast to coast like the Space Ghost with 2:32 to play. A victory over division rival Moon. Shields from long range. Easy save there for Stoops, who will leave nothing to chance. The penalty is expired as Orr brings it across the Avonworth line. It bounces off a skate and right to Walton. Walton blasts it off a skate and in. Kevin Walton nuzzles that nylon, and it's the Jaguars by a pair. Took some extra abuse there inside his own zone, but we play on. Hennigan around a man. Hennigan from an angle shooting it on Stoops, and he cradles that puck in his equipment.
Penalty upcoming against Avonworth.
Interference is going to be the call. Garnet Valley with a chance right out in front of Mack, and they score off the delayed call. Nolan Stott, the captain, makes it happen, and the Jaguars have opened the floodgates a bit here in period 2 with 10:07 to play. And Danny Mack suddenly is target practice. Speaking of targets, saucer pass and then some for Walton. Walton shooting on Mack. He makes a save, covers the rebound.
Well, it's a good decision.
Bring it to center. Here's Stott. Using those legs to get it over the line, but he's greeted near side by Anderson. Lopes on the counter. Shields from distance. Forces the offensive zone face-off again.
If we run back that shot right there, you'll see Shields crosses the blue line, and he's got 3 black jerseys surrounding him.
The Lopes getting some clemency perhaps as Dadovsky forces a save from Stoops above the right circle. Good read there by Ralston. Ralston counterattacking late in the period for Avonworth. Ralston through the left circle, bouncing it on goal. The save made by Stoops. Garnet Valley.
It's a hockey night in Pittsburgh.
And I'll meet you in the schoolyard, baby, for all the marbles.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. How can I help you?
I need help paying my health insurance premiums.
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest costs on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. Fiber New specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
Gonna get up, pretty baby. Gonna get out of this rocking chair.
Cross ice, and it comes back to Lucas Blows. Hey, rookie! Welcome to the show, the Penguins Cup Championship Show, the Penguins Cup Playoff Show, and the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars putting on a show.
Tell the boys and girls I just don't care.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices, located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart. Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
Get ready, Pittsburgh! Experience a night out on the town and the thrill of live music. Trusky Entertainment brings you the hottest concerts and unforgettable events right here in the Steel City. Visit TruskyEntertainment.com to grab your tickets today and don't miss out on the best live music in Pittsburgh.
Ah, look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. We utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's official health insurance marketplace. How can I help?
Would preventative care and screenings be an option?
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest cost on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Go in a scoreless first period. Jaguars skating 5 against 4. Up top it goes. Morrow shooting, scoring! Holy shirts and pants! What a shot by Jake Morrow! Trying to go to Robinson, stolen by Powell. Powell trying to bring it wide. Ran out of room. It's deflected in! It's time to play Plinko with Cooper Powell, and we're tied at 1. With playoff rounds this season for Garnet Valley. Led the team and tied for 3rd in the Inter-County League with 33 goals across all competitions. As the Jaguars get the lead back, Caden Longo going coast to coast like the Space Ghost with 2:32 to play. The penalty is expired as Orr brings it across the Avonworth line. It bounces off a skate and right to Walton. Walton blasts it off a skate and in. Kevin Walton nuzzles that nylon. And it's the Jaguars by a pair.
And it's a hockey night in Pittsburgh.
And I'll meet you in the schoolyard, baby, for all the marbles. Loose change and I can't buy a thing. I'm like a
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. How can I help you?
I need help paying my health insurance premiums.
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest costs on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. Fiber New specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
Gonna get out, pretty baby. Gonna get out of this rocking chair.
Cross ice, and it comes back to Lucas Blows. Hey, rookie, welcome to the show, the Penguins Cup Championship show, the Penguins Cup playoff show, and the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars putting on a show.
Tell the boys and girls I just don't care.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
It's a hockey night in Pittsburgh.
And I'll meet you in the schoolyard, baby, for all the marbles. Loose change and I can't buy a thing. I'm like
No matter how many goals are scored in the Pennsylvania Cup, we at TenbandTV know the most important goal is self-care. Scan the Weight Loss Direct QR code on your screen during any broadcast to save $50 off your own personal weight loss program. Thanks to Weight Loss Direct for sponsoring our coverage of the Pennsylvania Cup on TenbandTV and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Matt Popchock back at the island with Kevin Zielmanski. We've got goals here too, Kevin.
Yeah, 5 of them in the first 2 periods. It was 2-1 Garnet Valley at the end of 1, and now 4-1 at the intermission as we see the Jaguars re-entering the ice surface, coming out of the door, and Avonworth is also doing that. I think we're gonna...
Here we go.
So the first one's gonna be a point shot from Morrow. Wide open right there. He's going to bury it. That's the opening goal of the match for Garnet Valley. They got a 1-0 lead. It's going to be Cooper Powell that he's going to tie it up right here. Or he's going to come in, delay, and curl to the forehand, throw it at the net. We thought maybe Shields deflected it, but they're going to award it to Powell unassisted. We are tied at 1. Then Caden Longo for the for the Garnet Valley Jaguars gives them a 2-1 lead with the second goal, his 9th of the playoffs. It's going to be a turnover right there in the neutral zone. He's going to walk in and go 5-hole on Mack. 2-1. And then it's going to be Kevin Walton for Garnet Valley. He gets the third one, assist to Dylan Orr. It's going to be pulling up right here in the neutral zone, or inside the zone. It's going to go across for a slap shot. Walton gives them a 3-1 lead, and then finally it's Nolan Stott for Garnet Valley. He gets the fourth from AJ Tenhausen. As we're going to see this one as they, again, come across the offensive blue line. That's the Walton goal on the slap shot. Running that one again, that's the third one. Stott had the fourth one on a 2-on-1. And we have 17 more minutes to go, Matt.
The third period is our period. Let's go Pennsylvania Cup. In loving memory of Larry Snyder, we resume Pennsylvania Cup play. Dylan Orr kicking it up to Dolan. Orr plays it over the Avonworth line one more time. Colin Anderson, near side for Mulch. Mulch up to Dudovsky. The alternate captain of the Lopes brings it over the attacking line, 1 against 3. Dudovsky peeling back, shooting, and Stoops had to get a piece of that one. Dolan has the rebound through a crowd. The crowd dissipates quickly. Longo gets the puck deep enough for icing as Garnet Valley wanted to make a line change.
So what you're looking for if you're Coach Chiusano and his staff is you're looking for some jump from your guys early in the second period or third period. You want to make a push. You want to take advantage of an ozone face-off, turnover, a mistake somehow, make it 4-2 as Avonworth continues to really get dominated on the dot and put some pressure on Garnet Valley to close it out.
Back up it comes to Smallwood. Smallwood from inside his own line. Turned it over at center red. Delphin lost control of that puck but regains possession at the circle. 2-on-2 for Garnet Valley. Kick save by Mack. The rebound is smashed in by Delphin. And that might be the dagger here with 1:04 off the third period clock.
Just an inviting rebound right there, Matt. Delphin going hard to the net. A right shot on the left side. Mack makes the save. There's an Antelopes white jersey nearby that did not pick up Delphin as he is charging the net for Delphin. His first of the playoffs, 7th of the season.
And I think we talked about during the break, Kevin, you know, you look at a team like Garnet Valley out in the East. I think, you know, I'm not going to speculate on, you know, which of the recent Flyers Cup finalists, which ones are better than the others, but I think you are what your record says you are. This was a 22-2 hockey team coming into the Pennsylvania Cup, and I think the way they've played today bears that out. They've played a complete hockey game, and you got to give the Jaguars and Stefan Charbonneau and their staff a lot of credit.
Absolutely. Ready for this game, continuing a run they've had. You're a 20-game winner. It's not by accident, and we've seen them be very good at both ends of the ice.
And taking nothing away from the Jaguars, I look back on when you and I called that Penguins Cup game on Monday as Rolston brings it over the line, and Hennigan brings it over the line, and puts it off the defenseman Heisa. Lopes crashing the net, unable to convert. You know, I think you can be a prisoner of your own success emotionally to a point as Longo goes cross ice for Anderson. Avonworth was so fueled by that student section and their fans on Monday night. Really one of the most raucous Penguins Cup final atmospheres I've ever experienced in my time covering the league. And the way Avonworth was going, could have won that game in street clothes as the Jaguars have a chance and drew a penalty. Will it be a penalty shot? No. Thank you, sir.
There was a quirk in that Penguin Cup series where each game had a penalty shot, all 3 of them, and none of them were successful.
First time in the quarter century of the league that's ever happened, I believe. All 3 games with a penalty shot.
Just to kind of build upon what you were saying, Matt, when you're a winning team and you're kind of new at it, you have to learn how to handle success and how to put it behind you quickly.
And on the penny power play, the Jaguars score for the second time. Nolan Stott double dips that ship. And the Jaguar faithful can probably let the celebration begin at this point. Garnet Valley in command 6-1 with 14:28 left in the third. The visitors from Greater Philly starting to taste that first ever state title.
And to continue, Matt, that was a good face-off win and a good shot right there. Like, if you're a mature team, an experienced team that has been involved in this frequently, and you have some experience to pass down, you learn how to kind of get ready, put it behind you. This is all kind of new to Avonworth, so they'll be better if they have the opportunity again next year. But Garnet Valley hasn't been in there either. They haven't played in the state championship in a while, so you got to give them a lot of credit right now. This one's a now 6-1 lead.
Over a quarter century since they won their last Flyers Cup prior to 2025 anyway. And yeah, I mean, Avonworth could have beaten Mars in street clothes if they wanted to, but they poured so much emotion into winning that Penguins Cup championship for the first time in their brief history that there just doesn't seem to be anything in the tank today. And it is very hard to compartmentalize that energy over a long season and to pack it in and remember that you've still got one more game to play when there's always such a carnival-like atmosphere surrounding the Penguins Cup playoffs here in the West. Another breakout for the Jaguars. The Jaguars looking to pour it on here, and they do as Walton adds another. 3 quick goals in the third period for Garnet Valley. Kevin Walton, one of the stars of the East, a beast of the West here on the island.
Well, I don't know if you caught on that replay if you're watching at home. There was a defensive pair line change. The right defenseman went to the boards, or went to the bench, through the boards, and it's just been a terrible change right there, and it's been a horrible start to this third period for Avonworth.
Cooper Powell's goal tied the state final here at 1. Late in the first period, Caden Longo with a coast-to-coast goal, at which point the floodgates effectively opened. 6 unanswered for the visiting Jaguars here at the RMU Island Sports Center. So it appears that the Pennsylvania Cup for 2025, barring a miracle, in Class A will belong to the Jags for the first time ever. Over the line, Chase Robinson, chased by Bevan. On goal it comes, knocked aside by Mack. Save there by Mack as we get a whistle behind the play. A cross-checking call forthcoming. And when it rains, it pours. Jimmy Shields going off. A 4th penny power play coming the way of the Jags.
Cash in this one here, we're going to have a running clock.
Kiski area, a first-time Penguins Cup champion in Class A 2 years prior, also incurred this in their Pennsylvania Cup game. We'll see what happens with 12:58 to play.
Yeah, that was Westchester East. That was the victorious that day here when Kiski won. And now again, that was the first time winner in Kiski area and being able to handle it. And again, it's worth mentioning the East and the West do it differently on how we break down the classifications. That's part of it.
Absolutely, and again, certainly not poo-pooing anything that the Eastern representative has done today, but perspective is always important. Stott from the near side, he's played an excellent game for the Jags. And their big guns have gotten going. Stott's had a good game, Walton's had a good game with a couple of goals. Avonworth's big guns just have been too quiet for the Lopes today. That's been a factor in the score as well. Sometimes it's just as simple as getting the puck on the tape of your best players and letting your best players do what they do. Stott forcing a save on the man advantage from Danny Mack. Speaking of Danny Mack, he has played over 1,100 minutes this year, came in with an .892 postseason save percentage, and 19 victories in all, I beg your pardon. The winning goaltender in all 19 Lopes victories in 24-25. He's going to be moving on, and Avonworth is a team that still has 11 juniors, so they should be a tough team again next season, but they're going to need a new goalie next year, Kevin.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the mothers that I know beforehand, and she was outlining that to me, that there's some goalies that live in the district that do not attend Avonworth that maybe would come back to the school that could fill that role, but that is not yet determined if that's going to happen. So that's up in the air.
Garnet Valley still operating on the PP. Not a ton of urgency to score for obvious reasons, but playing this puck around the perimeter all the same to Walton. Walton on hat trick watch, but he's dispossessed by Powell. Cooper Powell, can he get another shorty? He has 7 already, but he won't get to shoot this one cleanly on Garrett Stoops.
You saw right there, Matt, no burst at all for Powell.
And again, a stark contrast from today to the beginning of the week. Knocked aside by Mack. And Mack has certainly done all he could to keep Avonworth in the hunt here, but the Lopes have been overwhelmed as the teams are back to 5 aside with under 11 to go in regulation. Klein defensively trying to play it around Walton. The post-game show will be available on TenbandTV Sports 2, our sister channel on the TenbandTV platform. You can find the direct link at states with an S at the end, .tenband.tv. And be patient with the players from the winning team. It'll take them a few minutes to get upstairs and join us in the Hat Trick Club, but we will hopefully be able to bring you sooner than not some interviews with the victors in all 3 Pennsylvania Cup games today, so you'll want to stick around for that. Another penalty coming up with 10 to play. Another cross-checking call, in fact. This time it goes against 53, not 33. Aiden Odell, the guilty party.
Odell for Avonworth, 2 minutes for cross-checking at 10:08.
Thing's finicky. So there's a little button under there. Okay. And when it goes off, it's like all technology stuff, on and off first. Yeah, I don't know what it's doing.
Garnet Valley 2 of 4 on the penny power play today, including a goal in the 3rd period here on the man advantage. They have their 5th opportunity here and now as Connor Ralston comes back shorthanded. Ralston sandwiched by a couple of Jaguar defenders. And this USA Hockey crew gets a Bronx cheer from the Avonworth faithful as we get set for a minute 37 of 4-on-4 hockey.
Yeah, we're going to be very clear here. The officials have had no impact on this game.
No, absolutely not.
Everybody's always looking for someone to blame. This is a time to just give the stick tap to Garnet Valley for how well they played today and how well they finished. So,
again, you have in this Class A Pennsylvania Cup final, you have 2 teams that came in playing really with not a darn thing to lose. Garnet Valley had just erased a long championship drought out in the East, and Avonworth, you know, they're the new kids on the block. This is their first venture into Pennsylvania Cup waters, and, you know, some growing pains today, obviously, but they're a program that's built up remarkably in a remarkably short time. Waiting in the wings are the North Penn Knights and the Cathedral Prep Ramblers. Bob Borkowitz and Kevin Zielmanski to my right will have the call of the Class 2A Pennsylvania Cup after this game has concluded. Cooper Powell, with a minute left in the 4-on-4, sends it to the corner. Morrow, the first man on it. He'll send it the length of the ice, and Avonworth will let it go for icing.
Well, a lot of room here, 4-on-4. See if the Avonworth offense could get something. They got 2 of their leading scorers here, Dadovsky and Ralston out here.
Trying to center for Ralston was Dadovsky. The puck ping-pongs off a couple of skates and is fired wide by Ralston from 45 feet. That save made at the side of the net by Stoops. Pushed back toward the line and sent to the corner. Midway through this 3rd period, Garnet Valley en route to their first ever Pennsylvania Cup championship with a comfortable lead. Lopes playing for pride here on the island at this point. Avonworth about to get a truncated penny power play in another 20 seconds, barring further developments. Bevan stopped short of that puck, and Stott played it around the boards, or tried to anyway, for Garnet Valley. Dudovsky over the attacking line. Dispossessed, but follows that puck to the near boards. Dudovsky in the corner. Bevan cranks one. Good pad save there by Stoops. And the Lopes fire it in on Stoops again. Oh, man. Andrew Hetchko, the defenseman out of heaven only knows where, put that puck into Stoops' pads.
Good defense there by Hishka for Garnet Valley. Stick on stick right there, not allowing Avonworth to get to that loose puck until coming off the bench, as you mentioned. Those are the dangerous guys sometimes, Matt. You don't account for the guy that comes late off the bench. I lost the state championship on that.
Garnet Valley continuing to dominate the dot. Off another face-off win, they forced the puck all the way back into the end of Avonworth ice. Dolan takes the outlet pass, gains the red line, sends it into Garnet Valley territory. Heiska off his own boards. McGee gets it just beyond his own stripe. Anderson, just barely onside, plays it for the Lopes in behind the Jaguars' goal. Chase Robinson up to center. Robinson from the circle. Robinson unable to sneak it through the pillows. Under 7 to go in regulation. Hennigan from his own corner up to center. Dolan inside his own line. Both teams making changes in the run of play. Shields had trouble with the outlet pass. He follows it to the corner.
They were both very slow changes, Matt. That was a very congested neutral zone for a moment.
Maybe both teams a little fatigued at this point after leaving it all out there on the ice here in this Class A Pennsylvania Cup. Winding down third period action. So Garnet Valley will finish the 24-25 season at 23-2 across all competitions. And the Avonworth Antelopes will finish their historic campaign at 19-6 overall. Avonworth this season the third place team in the PIHL Blue Division, pulling off a significant upset in round 2 of the regional playoffs, and then a paper upset, if you will, of both Moon and Mars, the two teams that finished ahead of them in the Class A Blue standings, to capture their first PIHL title. The Jaguars champions of the National Division of the Central League before winning the league title and then winning the Flyers Cup for the first time since 1998. That's off a skate. That of Delphin, who has a goal in this final frame. Back to center it comes. Walton winding through center. Good steal there by Powell. Powell trying to do it all by himself, but too many black shirts to beat. Penalty coming up on Avonworth, and the Lopes fans still expressing their displeasure with 5:13 to play.
Well, it's kind of academic at this point with 5:13 to go, and you're going to be down another man on the penalty kill.
A 6th penny power play for the Garnet Valley Jaguars. Ralph Papa playing the right point as Stefan Charbonneau empties his bench. Zadovsky the steal. Zadovsky from the high slot shooting and just missing. And it goes in. It's off a hand. Ralston played it off his glove and in. Avonworth fans aren't happy, but I believe, Kevin, this is the correct call. It's not a goal, and it will remain 7-1 with under 5 to go.
Well, Dodowski tried to do the curl and drag right there, and you can see it behind the net.
All the ice is no goal due to a hand motion on the puck.
I mean, Ralston never touched it with his stick, so stands the reason that that's not going to be a goal. Again, the Avonworth faithful getting a little unnecessarily on the officials. They had nothing to do with this game.
Tadovsky reaching for it. Tadovsky has a chance again. Tadovsky to the goal. Backhander, score! Bow to your sensei! Tadovsky, give him credit for not giving up. A shorthanded goal for the Avonworth Antelopes to make it 7-2.
Well, we talked about all game the prowess of both of these sides on the penalty kill, Matt. And this time, Austin Dodowski puts the pressure on the defenseman right past the penalty box outside the defensive blue line, and he's able to strip the puck, create the turnover, and walk in. And his silky smooth hands, he goes top shelf over the goaltender right there. Stoops for a shorthanded goal.
Mack making the save on Stott right off the ensuing faceoff. Ralston picking up a point on the shorthanded marker by Dodowski. His 10th playoff goal in all.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's no small feat. They've reached double digits in playoff scoring. I would have thought that one was going to be unassisted, but Ralston's going to pick up a generous assist right there.
You got to respect the Avonworth PK. They didn't just punch the clock and go through the motions with time ticking down. They continue to battle, even though this game is rather out of hand at the moment. Shot from the edge of the circle, taken by Abenizio. That hit something and went in behind the Avonworth cage. Jaguars operating deep in Avonworth ice. They work it up top to Abenizio. Walton behind the net, reversing for Robinson. Robinson up to Abenizio. Abenizio to Robinson. Robinson left circle. That shot is blocked. Klein taking one for the team as the Jaguars have to regroup. 20 to go in the minor penalty. Garrett Kramer on here late in the game for the Lopes as Chris Chiasano empties his own bench. Both teams giving their depth guys one more moment in the sun here before their season ends, and we have an Avonworth player injured.
I did not see him over there. I was wondering why they stopped it. I thought it was for the ice, but they were shorthanded.
We'll step aside and give the on-duty EMT time to do his thing. It's 7-2 Garnet Valley on TenbandTV and Trib Live High School Sports Network.
And it's a hockey night in Pittsburgh. And I'll meet you in the schoolyard, baby, for all the marbles.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. How can I help you?
I need help paying my health insurance premiums.
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest costs on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little...
And we are back quickly here. The injured Antelope has been helped off the ice with 3:19 remaining in regulation. 7 seconds left on the penalty clock. And it's Mulch, I believe, if my eyes don't deceive me, who was being helped off the ice for Avonworth.
I got my binoculars buried, Matt. I don't usually have them out for the hockey rink like football.
You and I have that in common. Dolan plays it through the rafters, and it bounces. It comes in on goal. We may have to add that to Garrett Stoops' sizzle reel. That puck went through the rafters and right into his glove. That would have been a goal if it had bounced in behind him.
That was strange and odd to say the least that they were able to flip it through looking at the support beams that kind of go up and down on angles and get through there, untouch the roof, the beam, and go right on net.
It's like something out of one of the Mighty Ducks films almost. Jaguars winning another face-off out to center for Walton. Stott trailing the play. Smallwood from behind his own net for Hetchko. At his own blue line, Jaeger Kern, the defenseman, playing it up into Avonworth territory. Lopes unable to get it back to center. Kern lost a step to Ersta. Ersta sends this puck to the corner. Heiska up his own boards. Near side it comes to Stott. Nolan Stott over the attacking line, but lost the puck.
Right there, they had him against the board. You can't allow that cross-ice pass. You got to close that down, stay in diagonal positioning.
Johnny Smallwood with a shoulder check on Kevin Walton, who keeps on keeping on. Behind the net it comes to Robinson. Robinson out to Morrow. Loose puck in the circle. Stott fires on Mack. He makes that save. Ralston up to center. Ralston over the line. Ducks around the check. Ralston behind the Garnet Valley goal. From an angle, he fires it off Stoops, and this one does go out of play.
Tried to pick that top corner. Well, I don't know if Coach Giasano will go back and watch the tape. If you do, Chris, I think you might see the fact that your team defense today needed to be a little better than what it was. That was a high hit. It was. The whistle remains in pocket for the time being as Longo has it at center across the Avonworth line. Takes the check from Dolan. Dolan and Longo getting tied up, and Dolan gives the old who me as Ralston comes across the line with the puck for Avonworth. Ralston creating space, shooting on Stoops. Save made, rebound. Oh, good save there on the follow by Stoops, and the net comes off in the process. That's usually a problem here. That's like the first time today we've seen the goalie push and knock the net off. That seems to be a common stoppage here as we're now under a minute. And as someone that's also involved with the league, Matt, we're just going to cross our fingers and say there's no incidents in the last 55.6 seconds here. And we could just allow Garnet Valley to celebrate their first state championship.
By the way, I think I misspoke earlier, Kevin. I believe, am I correct, is it Tyler Polk on the call for Game 2 today?
I believe that's the case, and then
yes.
I rejoin you for 3A.
Yes, sir, you are correct. Hey, if you're going to make a mistake, make it out loud, and then correct it out loud when you get the chance. So Kevin will be back with us eventually for the nightcap, the Class 3A final between Seneca Valley and Holy Ghost Prep. Seneca Valley looking for their first ever state championship after coming up just short in 2018, which was the year of their only Penguins Cup title prior to Monday's historically long championship game in the Penguins Cup. 15 seconds left. Head coach Stefan Charbonneau, a great hockey mind, molding some young minds on that Garnet Valley bench into championship form as we get coincidental penalties with 4.5 seconds left.
That's the stuff we're trying to avoid. Not needed. As they go deep into the bench, we get some guys on the ice. Bam Smallwood, the freshman. Was that 28 that went in there? Or
you are
Johnny?
correct.
No, Johnny. 22.
The older brother is sent off. So one more face-off, presumably, before the Jaguars can formally celebrate their first Pennsylvania Cup. And that'll do it. The Garnet Valley Jaguars are Pennsylvania Cup champions for the first time in their 31-year history as they defeat the Avonworth Antelopes, a first-time Pennsylvania Cup finalist, by a final score of 7-2. Congratulations to the Jaguars, our 2024-2025 state champions in Pennsylvania Class A, and congratulations to the Penguins Cup champion Avonworth Antelopes on an amazing season here in the West.
It's disappointing to lose a state championship, Matt, but that does not erase and diminish what was a fantastic season for whichever teams lose here today. This game was Avonworth, who had a great season. They won their first ever Penguins Cup. They were all excited the other night, and that should not sour that win at all. You take your chances, you show up, and Garnet Valley was better today. They win 7-2.
The handshake line commences. We see Commissioner of the PIHL Tom Halliburka in orange down at center ice with the keeper of the cup, Lenny Santoris, still at it after all these years, ready to lead our trophy presentation. And Brian Mitchell, we want to thank him for his great work as the PIHL and Pennsylvania Cup media liaison. And we see him over at the visitors bench at the moment.
And Matt, on that subject, there are a lot of people involved with the league. They're on the back of the program. Besides Tom, there's the president, Jack Kukan, the vice presidents, Jen Pingree, Chris Chiasano, the coach of Avonworth, Teresa Batodian, Jeff Rosella, Heather Ruffner, Jennifer Porter, Kathy Santora, Carol Walker, Michelle Miller. They're all working, and we have some other people here helping. So it's quite an effort to put on these state championships.
And our coaches liaison, Kevin Zielmanski. Thank you, Kevin, for being along for the ride and for all your work behind the scenes. Thank you, Todd and Kennedy Kazarowski, Dylan Offerman, Ty Polk, Jess Levo, Michael Lyman in the Four Seasons, all his great work down there at ice level. And we're going to have the Garnet Valley Jaguars celebrating for the first time ever with the Pennsylvania Cup in just a moment as the Avonworth Antelopes take their final bows and exit stage right.
As Avonworth exits, we want to acknowledge the run they made. First ever Penguins Cup. First ever appearance in state finals. Runner-up in state finals tonight, but what a run. Time to get into a frontier form. Garnet Valley. You guys had quite a run in playoffs. You guys made it to state finals, first time in a while. And the streak of the Flyers Cup champions winning the state finals is now at 13. When I call your name, as I get the right roster here, when I call your name, please go up and retrieve your medals. Number 4, Evan Riley. Number 5, Jaeger Kern. Number 9, Kevin Walton. Number 14, Jake Robinson. Number 21, Jake Morrow. Number 22, Chase Robinson. Number 32, Radek Zabak. Number 33, Leo Kakad. Number 37, Ryan McGee. Number 40, Garrett Stoops. Number 48, Johnson Simpala. Number 52, Dylan Orr. Number 53, Jeremy Hiscott. Number 55, Wyatt Hadway. Number 65, Peyton Alonga. Number 72, Ralph Papa. Number 90, Matthew Agonizio. Number 91, Aiden Delphin. Number 92, Jordan Heinrich. Number 93, AJ Van Hoosen. Number 95, Nolan Scott. Number 96, Nicholas Mera. Number 98, Owen Parker. Head coach, Stephanie Charmanou. Assistant coaches Jeff Lasher, Pat Conway, and Ralph Papa. All right, folks, you ready to take some hardware back to Philly? Will the captains please stop up? The captains, will the captains please stop up and grab the 2025 Pennsylvania State Cup?
Team captain Nolan Stott of the Garden Valley Jaguars hoisting the Pennsylvania Cup. The first in program history, and he brings it over to the Jaguar fans off to our left. Stott, the #1 scorer among defensemen in the Inter-County League this season, and a big game for him today with a couple of goals and an assist as well. Once again, the Jaguars defeating the Avonworth Antelopes 7-2, and while we were thanking people, I don't want to forget Jared Toddhunter of Toddhunter Productions. Follow him on social media at Toddhunter Prods. He's been doing great work for the league today and all season, really, at special events, all-star games and what have you. And he is in charge of still photography for the Pennsylvania Cup today. And all those great trophy shots, the poster shots of the team posing with a trophy, those are Jared's, and we appreciate having him around as well.
Yes, all the little touches to try to make the day better for everyone and memorable for both teams, but especially for the winning teams when they get the championship trophy photograph, the keepsake.
A disappointing end for the Avonworth Antelopes, but nevertheless, they made history in 2024-2025 as a first-time Penguins Cup champion. The Garnet Valley Jaguars on this particular Saturday, they make history as a first-time champion in the Pennsylvania Cup. Final score again of the Class A game, Jaguars 7, Lopes 2. Congratulations to Garnet Valley. For Kevin Zielmanski, I'm Matt Popchock, and that's all she wrote for now. The AA Pennsylvania Cup between North Penn and Cathedral Prep is next on TenbandTV and Triple Live High School Sports Network, presented by Drusky Entertainment.
a hockey night in Pittsburgh.
And I'll meet you in the schoolyard, baby, for all the marbles.
Force one more time. Hennigan bearing down on him as the Jags go D to D. Hit from behind by Klein, and that'll be an obvious penalty against the Avonworth Antelopes.
For Garnet Valley to get out of the zone.
Under 10 to go in a scoreless first period. Jaguars skating 5 against 4. Up top it goes. Morrow shooting, scoring! Holy shirts and pants! What a shot by Jake Morrow! Trying to go to Robinson, stolen by Powell. Powell trying to bring it wide. Ran out of room. It's deflected in! It's time to play Plinko with Cooper Powell, and we're tied at 1. Advancing it. Mulch offside, and that's a big break for Garnet Valley.
It was, and he was offsides.
He was, I agree. Pressured back to the neutral zone. Re-enters the Avonworth end and shoots it on Mack. Mack makes the save, and Mack holds on. Cup playoff rounds this season for Garnet Valley. Led the team and tied for 3rd in the Inter-County League with 33 goals across all competitions. As the Jaguars get the lead back, Caden Longo going coast to coast like the Space Ghost with 2:32 to play. A victory over division rival Moon. Shields from long range, easy save there for Stoops, who will leave nothing to chance. The penalty is expired as Orr brings it across the Avonworth line. It bounces off a skate and right to Walton. Walton blasts it off a skate and in! Kevin Walton nuzzles that nylon, and it's the Jaguars by a pair. Took some extra abuse there inside his own zone, but we play on. Hennigan around a man. Hennigan from an angle shooting it on Stoops, and he cradles that puck in his equipment.
Penalty upcoming against Avonworth.
Interference is going to be the call. Garnet Valley with a chance right out in front of Mack, and they score off the delayed call. Nolan Stott, the captain, makes it happen, and the Jaguars have opened the floodgates a bit here in period 2 with 10:07 to play. And Danny Mack suddenly is target practice. Speaking of targets, saucer pass and then some for Walton. Walton shooting on Mack. He makes a save, covers the rebound.
Well, it was a good decision.
Bring it to center. Here's Stott. Using those legs to get it over the line, but he's greeted near side by Anderson. Lopes on the counter. Shields from distance. Forces the offensive zone face-off again.
If we run back that shot right there, you'll see Shields crosses the blue line, and he's got 3 black jerseys surrounding him.
The Lopes getting some clemency perhaps as Dodovsky forces a save from Stoops above the right circle. Good read there by Ralston. Ralston counterattacking late in the period for Avonworth. Ralston through the left circle, bouncing it on goal. The save made by Stoops. Garnet. Delphin lost control of that puck, but regains possession at the circle. 2-on-2 for Garnet Valley. Kick save by Mack. The rebound is smashed in by Delphin. And that might be the dagger here with 1:04 off the 3rd period clock.
You have to learn how to handle success and how to put it behind you quickly.
And on the penny power play, the Jaguars score for the 2nd time. Nolan Stott double dips that chip. Another breakout for the Jaguars. The Jaguars looking to pour it on here, and they do as Walton adds another. 3 quick goals in the 3rd period for Garnet Valley. Tape of your best players and letting your best players do what they do. Stott forcing a save on the man advantage from Danny Mack. Speaking of Danny Mack, Ralston comes back shorthanded. Ralston sandwiched by a couple of Jaguar defenders. And this USA hockey crew gets a Bronx cheer from the Avonworth faithful as we get set for 1:37. It's one good pad save there by Stoops. And the Lopes fire it in on Stoops again. Oh, man. Hetchko, Andrew Hetchko. Dodovsky the steal. Dodovsky from the high slot shooting and just missing. And it goes in. It's off a hand. Ralston played it off his glove and in. Avonworth fans aren't happy, but I believe, Kevin, this is the correct call. It's not a goal.
They had nothing to do with this game.
Tadovsky reaching for it. Tadovsky has a chance again. Tadovsky to the goal. Backhander, score! Baldier Sensei! Tadovsky, give him credit for not giving up. A shorthanded goal for the Avonworth. Do it. The Garnet Valley Jaguars are Pennsylvania Cup champions for the first time in their 31-year history as they defeat the Avonworth Antelopes, a first-time Pennsylvania Cup finalist, by a final score of 7-2. Congratulations to the Jaguars, our 2024-2025 state champions in Pennsylvania Class A, and congratulations to the Penguins Cup champion Avonworth. The Garnet Valley Jaguars hoisting the Pennsylvania Cup, the first in program history, and he brings it over to the Jaguar fans off to our left. Stott, the #1 champion. The Garnet Valley Jaguars on this particular Saturday, they make history as a first-time champion in the Pennsylvania Cup. Final score again of the Class A game, Jaguars 7, Lopes 2. Congratulations to Garnet Valley. For Kevin Zielmanski, I'm Matt Popchock, and that's all she wrote for now. The AA Pennsylvania Cup between North Penn and Cathedral Prep is next.
And it's a hockey night in Pittsburgh.